A more abstract concept in Tai Chi and Aikido is this idea of the center. And if you think of your center of gravity, that could be a good region for you to start to learn to train your mental attention. So go a couple inches or so below the navel, and then just pick the corresponding point on your back, and then just bring your attention to the intersection of that line that is formed by those 2 points. Focus your mind on that point. And the odds are, if you have never done this before, it's not going to feel like a natural thing to do, which is why I'll usually get people to start to do some things to stimulate some awareness of that point, which you could just think of as a point in the middle of your guts. It's nothing magical. So tap gently below the belly button just for a little bit. And then tap gently in the kidney area. So you stimulate both the front and the rear. And then just stand there for a moment. Notice what you notice. How you can feel a little more aware of those 2 regions. And then just sink your attention deeper in there. So this center of gravity point, this single point, we refer to in Tai Chi as the Wu Ji center. The Wu Ji refers to the origin of all things, of the universe, before the energy is split into the 2 forces of yin and yang. If you're more partial to physics, just again, think of this as your center of gravity. So you put your attention down there in your guts. From a neuroscience perspective, we're acknowledging that the guts, the intestines, are functioning as a second brain in our nervous system, in the sense that they are linked up to our brain, they're releasing neurotransmitters and the like. So with your attention on your center, just do a simple up and down. See what that feels like. And imagine that your body is moving around that still point. So if my center is still, it's as if I could sink the body below my center down, and then I could feel the body above being light. And I just can have this sense of calmness in the movement. If I go sideways, it's the same thing. I may wait until I feel that there's this movement within my body that gives me that sense that my center is still, it's still. My center is remaining still. And then I could turn as I move sideways. And I could pick up the speed doing a loosening exercise and still have that focus on that central point. And I could walk and I could feel that point. And I can talk and I can feel that point. It's as if I'm talking from my center as opposed to from my mind. I can practice my Tai Chi forms with the attention always on the center. And I can notice when I get disrupted, when my mind gets a little agitated or when it just feels like my movement becomes a little jerky. And generally speaking, that's because I've lost my center for that moment of time. So I can always bring my attention back to my center throughout the day. And it's a good way of regulating your nervous system, keeping yourself in a calmer state. If you have a tendency to become anxious, you could focus your point of attention down into that region. There's other ways of doing it. I know this can be very abstract for people at first, but I find this is one of the most effective ways to keep yourself in that calm state once you learn how to do it. Of course, breathing is a useful tool, counting, awareness of sensations, perhaps in our hands or the ground. These are all effective ways of regulating our stress. The middle dantian here in the heart and the upper dantian above here or here could be other points that I could place my focus, and it will give me a different sense of how I feel when I move. But it's ultimately it's this Wuji center that gives me the greatest sense of calm as I go about my day and I practice.